So here we are talking a little more about UFC 304. We're going to cover the co-main event, some of the other fights on the main card, mostly the Paddy Pimblett Bobby Green one, maybe some quick thoughts on a few of the other fights on the card. But I'm going to try to knock this out all, in under 10 minutes. It is a 10-minute round for that reason, because my attention span isn't that long. And if I make it over 10 minutes, I will never shut up. So let's just keep it at that. So first of all, let's get this out of the way. Tom Aspinall's defending the interim heavyweight belt. However, you can't really say that John Jones is more of a champion. John Jones did not beat the champion, who was Francis Ngannou. He beat the guy who lost the champion. Tom Aspinall also didn't beat the champion. He beat Sergey, who was a top contender. Neither one of these guys has more of a right to call themselves the heavyweight champion more than the other. However, if Aspinall is defending it against an actual contender in Curtis Blaydes, we're starting to get there. That out of the way is a rematch. We all know how the first fight went down. The knee injury after, a minute into the fight. We didn't really get to see a whole lot. I really do think that Curtis Blaydes is a good opponent, that the UFC set this fight up to kind of be a coming out party for Tom Aspinall. I think that if he can win this one and win dominantly, it'll raise his stock a lot. It'll get more calls for that John Jones fight. I think that's, best case scenario. Is that going to happen? I don't know, dude. The heavyweight division is just the most unpredictable division. It's just one of those things where it's big dudes and they're slinging leather at each other's faces and anything can happen. What is the heavyweight title? How many times has a champ defended the belt? 3? Was it Stipe, I think? It's hard to get a good winning streak going in the heavyweight division. It's hard to get a good winning streak going at the top of the division. And this is where we are. Curtis Blaydes is a good fighter. He has a good skill set, kind of that wrestle boxer archetype. His issue could be, sometimes questionable decisions. Sometimes it's the IQ thing where the striking battle against Sergey was, take him down, dude. I get it. Strike a little bit. You don't want to be predictable, but you're taking him down is your bread and butter. We'll see if that's the strategy that he comes into this one with. How well is it going to work on Aspinall? I don't know. We're going to find out. But if I had to guess, my prediction would be is that Tom Aspinall is just going to be too quick, too good. He's probably going to put him away inside of 2 rounds. English people will rejoice. They'll go grab beers at 7 a.m. or whenever the card's going to end. Everybody will be happy. So we'll see if that's actually how it goes down. Hopefully it builds towards an eventual meeting between Aspinall and John Jones. Who knows? Anything is possible. That being said, which is something that I realize I say it a lot now that I record myself. Let's talk about let's talk about the Paddy Pimblett Bobby Green fight. I got it eventually. This is a interesting fight, to say the least. Bobby Green, which I think, I don't know, I'm not completely sure, but I think on Tapology his picture is actually Crazy Horse Bennett, which is kind of funny. I think this is a good fight, man. I think this is a good fight for both guys. I think, Bobby Green is an entertaining dude. He talks a lot of shit. He's a very good fighter. He's an interesting fighter. He has an interesting style. He makes for fun fights. That Jim Miller fight was insane. Paddy, gets a lot of criticism for his UFC career, but I do think that Paddy can win this fight. Paddy has started his UFC career standing up with a lot of guys and using mostly his hands. But if you ever watched Paddy coming up, in Cage Warriors, he is not just a good he's a dominant grappler, and I think he can do this against Bobby Green if he chooses to. If he chooses to not strike with Bobby Green, I think he can dominate him grappling. You know, if he makes the mistake of, hey, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to stand with this guy, there's always a chance. You know, Bobby Green has that pretty brutal knockout against Jalen Turner. That was a bad one. I don't know how well you come back from that one, but yeah, it's a very winnable fight for Paddy. It's in front of the hometown crowd. It's another big name in Bobby Green, and it can build up, you know, his legacy. I do think I have seen like some stuff of him talking about how he's been dealing with some mental health problems and stuff like that. Is it going to affect him in this fight? I don't know. You would hope that it wouldn't, but he was saying that he was having a bad training camp. So I don't know if he's somebody that you'd necessarily want to put your money on. I also do this thing where like, hey, this fighter can easily win this fight if they go in with this strategy. And then I'll usually throw a few bucks down on that person because of that. And then they go into the fight and they don't do that at all. They go with a completely different strategy. And I end up losing money. And my lady is just very upset with me that I can't afford rent again for another month. So don't listen to me as far as gambling advice is concerned. But if Paddy goes in and he grapples with Bobby Green, he can win this fight. Not only win this fight, he might be able to submit Bobby Green. So we'll see how that one plays out. I think those are really the big important fights. Those top three fights are huge. We do have some other English fighters, some stars that are going to get a little bit of the shine. I mean, quite a few, honestly. We have Christian Leroy Duncan fighting Gregory Rodriguez, which I don't know anybody who would want to fight Gregory Rodriguez. That dude is terrifying. Fucking RoboCop. He's an insanely durable, very powerful dude, and this is an interesting test for Duncan. Like, we'll see how this one plays out. I just don't bet against Gregory Rodriguez because dude could be getting pummeled for 14 minutes and then a minute left in the fight. He's going to fucking just run through you all of a sudden. He's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm in a fight. Let me destroy this person. So there's that. Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikante. That's an interesting fight. Arnold Allen is on that 2-fight skid. You know, Giga kind of fights here and there. I think what was his last fight? Like Alex Caceres maybe, which was a win, but not like not as dominant, I don't want to say. Or it was okay. I feel Arnold Allen should probably get this one, get back on track. Nathaniel Wood versus Daniel Pineda. I love watching Nathaniel Wood fight. I think he's a very good fighter. I think he's very talented, but I also think he's very undersized at 145. I think it's an issue that he will face as he fights better fighters. The size, just his skill kind of trying to overcome the size gap. He should be able to beat Daniel Pineda. If it's a closer fight than it should be, it's kind of like just proves the point that he's undersized. But, I know he has a tough time hitting 135. So it might just be what it is. And then finally you got Molly McCann, Meatball Molly, not looking so much like a meatball on those embedded videos. She's looking pretty svelte. She means business, man. She knows she's got to win. I know she gets a lot of shit too, but it would be nice to see her win in front of her home crowd. Yeah. Other than that, man, there's some other guys on there, Jake Hadley, yada, yada, but we're all going to watch the card. We'll see what happens. I'll make a video afterwards to kind of recap everything. And that's about it. It is 95 degrees outside. I'm wearing way too much clothes, so I'm going to strip down as soon as this video is done and just, plant myself in front of the AC, which I have off because I don't want, my 2 viewers to hear that shit while I'm trying to talk. We'll see how the fights go. I hope they're good, man. I'm excited about this card. I got to stop doing that popping shit with my mouth too. I noticed that too. But, peace.